All right, we're going to start conceptual unit 3. We're going to be talking about graphs and graphing utilities. Okay, let's review our coordinate system. We have an x-axis that runs horizontally, and we have a y-axis that runs vertically. That cuts us into 4 quadrants. We use Roman numerals and go counterclockwise. So quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. Okay, the origin is at 0, 0. When you talk about ordered pairs, you have an x-coordinate and a y-coordinate. If your x-coordinate is positive, it means right. Negative means left. If your y-coordinate is positive, it means up. Negative means down. So they want us to plot these points and label them. So for point A, it says take 3 steps left and 5 steps up from the origin. You always start at the center. So 1, 2, 3 left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up, put a point and the letter A. Okay, for B, that would be 2 to the right, 4 down. So 1, 2 to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4 down, label it B. For C, that would be 5 to the right and nothing up or down. So just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right, make a dot and call it C. For D, this would be 5 left and 3 down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left, 1, 2, 3 down, call it D. And then E would be no right or left and 4 up. So don't go right or left, and 1, 2, 3, 4 up would be E. And F, of course, is not right or left or up or down, right there at the origin. Okay, so hit pause and answer. And we're back. This would say 2 left, 3 up, 2 left, 3 up. There we go. Okay, hit pause and answer. Okay, hopefully you answered D. This would be not right or left and 1 up. Okay. All right, graphs of equations. If you have an equation in 2 variables, they're talking about a relationship between 2 separate quantities. Okay, the solution of an equation in 2 variables is an ordered pair with the following property. When the x-coordinate is substituted for x and the y-coordinate is substituted for y in the equation, we obtain a true statement. 3, negative 5 is a solution because if I change x to 3 and y to negative 5, I get a true statement. If I turn y to negative 5 and x to 3, does negative 5 equal 4 minus 9? 4 minus 9 would be negative 5 equals negative 5. It is a true statement. Okay? To create your own table of values, it says make an XY table. Select integers for x starting with negative 3 and going to positive 3, one at a time. Substitute the x's. Plot the ordered pairs, connect, and use a bit of your algebraic knowledge. If you have a first degree equation, your dots better line up to a line. If it's a second degree, they should make some sort of a U shape. If it's absolute value, it should make some sort of a V shape. So for example, they want me to graph this one, and they want me to pick values. So I'm going to copy my equation every time. All I'm doing is copying this, but instead of x, I'm leaving a hole to substitute my values in from negative 3 to 3. You can do it one at a time. I just know I'm going to do it over and over again, so I set myself up. The first time I'm going to plug in negative 3, then negative 2, then negative 1, then 0, then 1, then 2, then 3. Do the math. Make sure you follow your order of operations. Exponent first is positive 9, but there's a 4 minus it in front gives me negative 5. So that ordered pair would be negative 3, negative 5. negative 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to stop and go, what am I expecting? Oh, I see a second degree, and it's negative, which means that's going to be an upside down parabola. So keep that in mind as you're drawing your points. Exponent first is positive 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. That ordered pair is negative 2, 0. Okay, negative 1 squared is 1. 4 minus 1 is 3. That ordered pair is negative 1, 3. Okay, 0 squared is 0. 4 minus 0 is 4. That ordered pair is 0, 4. Okay, 1 squared is 1. 4 minus 1 is 3. That ordered pair is 1, 3. Are you starting to see it? Okay, 2 squared is 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. That ordered pair is 2, 0. And 3 squared is 9. 4 minus 9 is negative 5. That ordered pair is 3, negative 5. Connect, and I did indeed get an upside down parabola. That is graphing using a table of values. Okay, what am I expecting here? I'm expecting an absolute value. Again, I'm going to copy it. Y equals absolute value of blank minus 2 plus 1. Y equals absolute value blank minus 2 plus 1. Y equals absolute value minus 2 plus 1. The equation doesn't change. Only what I'm plugging in changes. Okay. And I'm plugging in negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. Alright, inside here I would have negative 5. The absolute value negative 5 is 5, plus 1 is 6. So negative 3, 6. 4, 5, 6. Okay, negative 2 minus 2 is negative 4. The absolute value negative 4 is 4, plus 1 is 5, so negative 2, 5. Okay, negative 1 minus 2 is negative 3. The absolute value negative 3 is 3, plus 1 is 4, so negative 1, 4. Okay, absolute value 0 minus 2 is negative 2. Absolute value is 2, plus 1 is 3. Ordered pair is 0, 3. 1 minus 2 is negative 1. Absolute value is 1, plus 1 is 2. 1 comma 2. Absolute value 2 minus 2 is 0. Absolute value is 0, plus 1 is 1. 2, 1. 3 minus 2 is 1, plus 1 is 1, plus 1 is 2. 3, 2. And you can see where it's starting to head back up. Okay? Alright, so you do this one. And you should get A. And just use a calculator. You literally type, I would do parentheses negative 1 divided by 3 parentheses times, or parentheses negative 3 plus 2. Negative 1 divided by 3 parentheses negative 2 plus 2. Negative 1 divided by 3 parentheses negative 1 plus 2, so on and so forth. Get your decimal equivalents, plot them, connect them, and you got it. Okay, try this one. And hopefully you got B. Again, plug these in. You'd have Y equals a negative absolute value of negative 3 plus 6. This is positive 3, but you still have this negative touching it. So then you have a negative times a positive 3 plus 6, which is negative 3 plus 6, which is 3. Okay. Same with here. You'd have Y equals a negative absolute value of negative 2 plus 6. the absolute, you have a negative times now a positive 2, which is negative 2 plus 6, which is 4, so on and so forth. Plot your points and connect. Okay, so how do you graph an equation using a table of values? You substitute x's and get y's, plot, and connect. Elaborate, but gist of it. Alright, graphing equations and creating tables using a graphing utility. Okay, we've been doing stuff on the graphing calculator for a while. We've looked at window and how to read the x minimum, x maximum scale, y min, y max, y scale. When they write it like this, that's what they're telling you. They're telling you what you can set your window dimensions at. So this says, what is the meaning? Well, it means that my x min is negative 2, my x max is 3, and my x scale is 0.5. My y min is negative 10, my y max is 20, and my y scale is 5. Okay, so this one, if you have to read it from looking at a window, alright, you just look at your choices. If I check this one, this would say that this is negative 20, this is positive 20, and it's counting by 2's. Well, if this is 0, 0, and I'm counting by 2's, this has to be 2, which means this would have to be 4, not 20, so that doesn't work. If I check this one and say, okay, if this is negative 4, and this is positive 4, and this is 0, 0, this would be 2, and this would be 4. That works. Okay, so that one works, and that one's not going to work. So now it's between these two. So now I look at the y-axis window. If I check this one, if this is negative 80, and this is positive 80, and this is 0, 0, alright, then it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 lines. That would be counting by 8s. That's got to be my window. This one wouldn't make any sense. If this was negative 4 and I'm counting by 2's, then this line would be negative 2 and this would be 0, which isn't possible because 0 is up there. Okay, so stop and do this one. Okay, looking at the window and my choices, the only one that makes sense is this one. If this is negative 25 to 25 and this is 0, 0, counting by 5s would make this 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. That works. Same with the bottom to top. Okay, so you can explain the meaning of that window. Alright, intercepts, you get an x-intercept where the graph crosses the x-axis. They would be my two x-intercepts. If you write those as ordered pairs, I promise every x-intercept has to have a y-coordinate of 0. Okay, so the ordered pair for this x-intercept, yes, the x-intercept is 2, as an ordered pair would be 2, 0. This would be written as negative 2, 0. Okay? Y-intercept is where the graph crosses the y-axis. There's my y-intercept, and I promise every y-intercept as an ordered pair has to have an x-coordinate of 0. Okay, so it says identify the x and the y-intercepts, where here's his x-intercept, which would be negative 1. The y-intercept would be right here, positive 2. Sorry. For B, the x-intercept, it crosses the x-axis right here, that's at 3. The y-intercept, it doesn't ever cross the y-axis, so there is none. If it crosses through the origin, its x-intercept and its y-intercept are both at 0. So take a minute and do this one. And hopefully you got the x-intercept is negative 3. Right there, it crosses at it. There is no y-intercept because it never crosses the y-axis. Okay, try this one. And the answer should be, you have an x-intercept at -5, at -4, and at +1. No particular order, obviously. And you have a y-intercept at -4. Okay, so how do you identify the x-intercepts and the y-intercepts? You look at where it crosses the x and the y-axis. Okay. Alright, reading line graphs. They're giving you two mathematical models that approximate the data displayed by the line graphs up here. Here's for under 18, that would be the red line. Here's for over 25, that would be the blue line. For A, use the appropriate formula to determine the percentage of marriages ending in divorce after 10 years when the wife is over 25. So they're telling me to use this equation and change n to 10. So if I multiply, I would get 23 plus 1.5. Sorry, another coughing fit. Okay, so I would have 23 plus 1.5, which would give me 24.5%. Okay, that's for A. B says use the appropriate line graph to determine the percentage of marriages ending in divorce after 10 years when the wife is over 25. So if I go to, excuse me, determine the parents, if I go to the line graph and I go to 10 years of marriage, and I go up to my graph and I read across to the y, it says that it should be at 25. So according to the line graph, I should have 25%. So C says, does the value given in the mathematical model, that's what I did the algebra in, underestimate or overestimate, underestimate or overestimate, sorry, my thing is stuck right now. Come on, buddy. Underestimate or overestimate? Well, mine underestimates because mine is smaller than the graph. And it underestimates it by 0.5%. Subtract those two. Okay? So if you answer this one, it says what temperature was recorded at 4 p.m. You would go to 4 on the x-axis. Alright, and then you would read up and over, which puts it at 76 degrees, or yeah, 76. Okay. Alright, next it says in the table of values, looking at here for 33, this is just some homework help. Which equation corresponds to y2 in the table? If you just pick some values so that they give you the x for, like if I plug in -3, now we're just looking at y2's, would I get 5? Well, if I take A and I check it, does 5 equal -3 plus 8? Yes, it does. So let's check the next one, -2 and 4. Alright, if I plug in 4 for y and -2, I would get 6. 4 does not equal 6, so it can't be A. If I try C, okay, if I try the 3 again, the 3 and the 5, I would change y to 5 and x to -3. Distribute the negative, and 2 plus 3 is 5 equals 5. Check the next one, -2 and 4. 4 equals 2 minus a -2. Distribute 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 equals 4. So I'm going to go with C. You could check some more. Does the graph of y2 pass through the origin? To pass through the origin, it would have to go through 0, 0. For y2, it goes through 0, 2. So, no. At which point does the graph of y2 cross the x-axis? To cross the x-axis, you are looking for an x-intercept, which means you want the y-coordinate to be 0. So when the y-coordinate is 0, x is 2. Alright, so at which point does the crosses at 2? At which point do the graphs of y1 and y2 intersect? Remember from our system days, that is when you get an equal value for y, and that is right here, and also right here. So you would have two possibilities, -2, 4, and 1, 1. Okay? Alright, so what does it mean to analyze a graph of a function in the context of a real-world scenario? Just like we were reading those line graphs for the marriages and answering questions. And I will see you next time. Happy homework, and goodbye.